Hello, today I want to talk about vampires, more specifically vegan vampires, and how someone lives as a vegan vampire. Now you see, most vampires drink blood, and that can be very problematic at times because blood isn't the easiest thing to find, and you usually have to take it from some animal. So, how does someone who is a vegan and doesn't want to kill animals, how do they live as a vegan vampire? Well, I think the most obvious answer is to try ketchup, because ketchup it's just like blood, except it tastes a lot better. And I know this because I put ketchup on just about everything I eat, and I have tasted my own blood before. When I was about 6 years old, I had a cut on my leg, and so I tasted the blood, and I thought, you know what, it doesn't taste that good. It's a little bit salty, but really not that good. Ketchup has always tasted better. And right here, I have tomato puree on my pasta. I bought some tomato puree, and I always buy organic ketchup. I also have tomato juice. I'll show you my tomato juice. Yeah. So tomato juice is a very good meal because it really is just like ketchup, except because it's all tomato, Now, one thing is, you'll probably prefer tomato juice over ketchup if you're the kind of vampire that can't have garlic, because garlic is usually an ingredient in most ketchups. But tomato juice is a really amazing thing, because a lot of tomato juice is just tomato juice, but then they'll add a bunch of salt. Now, I like the tomato juice with salt, and I can just drink it like crazy. Man, that is good. So yeah, that is the most obvious way that you can substitute blood with tomato juice or ketchup or some other tomato product, because it looks identical to blood and it's a very filling meal. Now, one thing that's very interesting is, although I believe that tomato products would be a very good solution for most vampires. Also, I hear blood orange is another common food that vegan vampires like. But let's go a little bit deeper into it. Now, let's suppose that you don't have access to tomato products or blood orange, and you require human blood, for example. Now, what's very interesting in the Twilight series is that the Cullens, they drank the blood of other animals but not humans, which is very strange because they viewed human life as more valuable. Therefore, they did not want to kill humans, but they wanted to kill the other animals, which is very weird. So that's an example of someone who is fine with killing the other animals but not humans. However, here's where it gets interesting, is that it is not required to kill someone in order to drink their blood. After all, humans have blood draws all the time, just like I recently did. I had blood draws to test my hormone levels, and people can extract blood from someone. We all bleed every time that we get cut or something, but we produce more blood. So as long as you don't drink all the blood of a human at once, that human can still live and produce more blood. So really, the mainstream vampires are going about it all wrong, because what the real solution, it's, first of all, it's more practical just to drink tomato juice. But if they absolutely have to have human blood, then what they need are consenting humans who just agree to give up a portion of their blood. But then they don't have to be killed. Because, first of all, killing them is not practical, because then you're destroying the source of blood. Their body continues to produce blood. So it's better to just take some blood, but then have them live, and they'll just produce more blood anyway, you know. So there's no reason for vampires to have to kill humans or any other animal. And I believe that most vegan vampires will simply find various blood substitutes, so that they don't have to go that route anyway. But as a last resort, I'm sure you can get human blood without having to kill any humans, if that's a big deal for you. So it's very interesting when you think about it, because, you know, it wasn't, well, you know, for example, once in a while there are mosquitoes. Now, as you know, mosquitoes are a little bit like vampires, because they drink the blood of other animals. So I remember one time I was eating something back when I still lived with my mom, and, you know, there was just this mosquito on my arm, and it was drinking my blood, and it wasn't bothering me, it didn't hurt or anything, so I'm like, okay, I just left it as it was, you know, and after it had its fill of blood, it just flew away, you know. Another time, a mosquito just drank water that I had on the table. It just, you know, that time it just needed water. So it's very interesting. So I find that there are various ways that we can just live in harmony with the bloodsuckers of the world. And I also think it's important to mention that all mammals, you know, humans as well as many other species of animals, we all start out as vampires. Because, as you know, before we're born, when we're inside our mother, we literally live off of her blood supply. So unborn babies always live off of the blood supply of their mother. So basically, almost all of us start our life out as vampires. So really, being a vampire or someone who lives off of blood for a while is really not all that unique. It happens all the time. So, you know, I'm just thinking about vampires. I've been watching some very interesting movies about vampires, like the Hotel Transylvania series and the Twilight series. And I was just thinking, you know, this raises some very interesting discussions about, you know, what it must be like for humans and vampires and others, you know, all interacting, and how can we work it out so everyone lives and everyone is happy. So yeah, I just think there are some very interesting things to consider if you happen to be a vampire. So, you know, I think that discussion of being a vegan vampire is something that is not all that common out there. And most vampires will just continue to suck the blood out of other living creatures without their consent and kill them, which is not a very nice thing to do. And I just think that, you know, just like many humans are going vegan now, the vampires can go vegan too. So that's just a few of my personal recommendations. I am personally an advocate of ketchup because I really like it, but tomato juice is also very good. So that's what I have to say about being a vegan vampire.